I'm Terrence Quinn. My firm is the TGQ Law Firm out of Ann Arbor, Michigan. I specialize in estate planning, probate, and elder law. For the first 6 years of my career, I worked for a big law firm in Michigan, and I was doing all kinds of law. Healthcare fraud and abuse work, general litigation. At some point, I realized that these companies weren't going to send me these $100 million cases for years and years and years to come. So what could I sell? What could I do that would allow me to get my own clients? And I realized everybody was going to die one day. And I said, let me go into estate planning, thinking it was as simple as just putting a name on a document and putting down what people wanted to have put in place. As I started doing that work for clients, I felt like I was really fulfilling their wishes and their dreams. I was really impacting them in their lives in a real way. And I just fell in love with it. Every time a client at the end of the estate planning process would say to me, I'm so glad that that's done, it made me feel real good about the work that I was doing. So I was sold and decided to keep on going. One of the most difficult parts of owning my own firm is doing all of the work of the firm while trying to make money at the same time. A great example is the most difficult thing that's ever happened to me in my lifetime. So when I opened this law firm back in 2008, shortly after that, the economy crashed. And I'm out here doing a wills practice. My wife was at home 8 months pregnant with my second child. And so she wasn't working, wasn't generating income. So everything that we had fell on me. So I was doing all the marketing. I was answering the calls, if the calls were coming in. I was doing the meeting with the clients, doing the work with the clients, building their plans, mailing the plans, delivering the plans, signing the plans. I was doing all of it with them while trying to generate income, while trying to keep all of that going. And it was super hard. And frankly, and I don't mind sharing this, we lost everything. And that was extremely difficult. And in the middle of that, trying to decide, should I stick it out and keep going, or should I go ahead and go get a job? That was difficult. I was trying to manage the whole business because it's what was required. I didn't feel like I could pay anybody to help at that time and still keep going in the middle of it all. So even today, now that we have a thriving company, we have a lot of employees, I have a lot of people helping me. My wife even works for the firm now. It can still be challenging overseeing the entire business. But one of the things that has been beneficial to me is pulling into my world people who are experts in the different areas where I can use help, and then delegating those responsibilities to them. People who I can trust to do a great job and trust to have my back and trust to do the right thing, period. Bringing them on board has been super helpful. But the most difficult thing is just managing it all, especially as I've tried to go it alone. Wrong move, but I've learned since then. So one of the ways that procedures help me with the firm is by helping me restructure and reorganize the firm to free me up to do what I'm really supposed to be doing. So over the last couple of years, I've really thought a lot about where do I bring the best value to the firm? And one of those places is being out in the streets, doing presentations and educating the community on how they can do estate planning, how they can avoid probate, and all of that kind of stuff. Well, what was happening, I was inside the firm a little bit too much, handling a lot of the day-to-day. We have people in place, but I'm managing the teams, I'm answering questions, I'm doing the work, and I was constantly feeling like I needed to be outside of the firm. But in order to do that, I would have to bring in another attorney to help me. And in my mind, how much is that going to cost me? That's another cost. I need to be out here doing presentations so I can bring more money so I can pay people. But I need to bring somebody in so I can be out there doing more presentations. And I was a little concerned about all of that. Through my conversations with Prestige and with Jaden at Prestige, I started to realize, number one, I could restructure the internal workings of the firm, move people around in a way to position people so that they could better support what we were doing internally. With that, I also had conversations with Jaden about making key hires. I brought in a sister of mine who's very good at managing teams. I was able to move my wife over into marketing so that because she's excellent at that, so that she could handle some of the internal marketing functions. There was still one other concern though. If I bring in another attorney to help with the actual planning, the actual legal work, how much is that going to cost me? And I got into a place where I was thinking only about the cost of bringing another attorney and not as much about the benefit. And I remember Jaden saying to me one day, if you bring in a good attorney, they're going to pay for themselves. And as we dug into that more, I started to realize that any attorney that I bring in is likely to generate 3 times what I have to pay them. So they're no longer a cost to the firm. They're a benefit to the firm from a dollars and cents perspective. And it then only made sense to start moving in that way. So now that we have people in place at the recommendations of Prestige, in place to handle billing and operations and all of that in a great way, I can feel much more comfortable bringing in another revenue generating team member who will generate much more revenue than they're going to cost me. It only made sense. Sometimes, as a business owner, you may know these things, but you need somebody else who specializes in it to confirm what you're thinking or to show you where you hadn't been thinking about it in that kind of way. That's what Prestige was able to do with me. They were able to show me that we can and should move in that direction and that it's only going to be a benefit, certainly financially, to the firm. So working with Prestige has been great. I've enjoyed the time that I've been working with them so far. What I love about what they're doing, they have a plan for how they're going to help me build and grow my practice from an accounting perspective, but not just that, even from a marketing perspective. I've never worked with an accountant before who was focused not only on the dollars and how to manage and account for those dollars, but also how to bring in more dollars, how to make sure your systems are running more efficiently, how to create marketing plans and marketing strategies that are more efficient. I'm a marketer. I enjoy marketing. I already do that. I already think marketing. But I had Prestige come in and talking with Jaden, they started talking about how to be more focused in the marketing, how to put things in place that are going to generate more revenue to make sure it's more efficient with what we're doing from a marketing perspective. So it's been great. One of the other things that I've always looked forward to is being able to really see and understand my financials in a greater way, in a simplified way, which is a greater way for me. And that's something that Prestige does as well. So it's been great. It's been great working with Prestige. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to doubling and tripling my income next year. And we'll see where that goes.